for me, Mirage kind of become the new Dust 2.
Yeah.
Of CS. It's either that or Inferno, very closely followed by. It's just, okay, we are very good at Dust 2. We like playing Dust 2 because it's the popular map. But now not many players or people or teams generally like playing on Dust 2 anymore, and Mirage is slowly overtaking that mantle.
For sure.
But coming straight in, there's CZ and a grenade on Thomas to start the round off.
Certainly interesting. You notice, though, he's playing over towards B. This is what you highlighted in the previous game. Maybe they should have gone for, and he seems to have done so. Bit of action in towards under. It does appear that Robin is going to be playing for them this evening, so not quite left as yet, or maybe step back on his decision. But either way, he's going to be here for this evening. A solid player in UKCS, but unfortunately not quite solid in this round. Gets his head cleanly taken off, but Luzzer on that USP with 2 quick kills coming in, brings it back into contention. All to play for still, though. He's the sole defender of this A site. Imi takes him down up close, unfortunately. Getting himself a nice little 3K. The coach mastermind, it would seem, and it's all onto Pulse. That bomb has gone down. There's a kit somewhere. It's going to be difficult for him to retrieve in this situation. No information to work with, and as soon as he peeks into 1, he gets peeked by 2 more. So pretty difficult for him there. Relatively clean pistol coming in from Orgles. A little bit of strategy in on it. You know, they had some utility and whatnot, but ultimately those initial frags in at middle secure them that round.
Especially Cray just sitting out on Palace, and who was it that got pushed out of connector? Was it Pulse?
Robin, I think.
Robin.
I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about him.
Clap.
Yeah, so just the push down mid, pushing Robin out of that connector and coming straight into the line of sight of Cray and him picking him up, letting the rest of Orgles just jump into the A site. Meanwhile, during this round, the Micro Uzi, Mac Daddy, doing pretty well.
Yeah, mate.
JN managing to get, sorry, it's Cray and JN managing to get majority of the kills that round. And Orgles just picking up the second round of the game. As we go into round 3, this is a full buy from Endpoint. So a very crucial round as well.
Yeah, for sure. A little bit more of a conventional start to this game for sure in terms of where the buys go and economy and whatnot. Imi does not seem to have a weapon. That's
I thought he was just
ideal.
thinking about buying something.
Yeah, so did I. Now he's just running in with a CZ and no thought for anything. And they're getting absolutely ripped apart here. Wow, okay.
Right.
This is completely fallen apart. A nice execute in theory, but unfortunately it does not work out as they just walk straight into the crosshairs, the double setup at CT, I should say. Just tearing things apart there. And a team ace coming in from Endpoint. Everybody chimes in with a kill. And Orgles, yeah, just absolutely ripped apart. I'm not really sure what to say about that one. It's not out-braining, it's just out-aiming.
well, even though Imi did not buy last round, he can drop for Jenko this round. So it was all a master plan. He was thinking around ahead, but it is a match pause. So a little, probably a technical pause coming out by the players. Someone's buy button isn't working.
I mean, maybe, yeah, Imi's like, I got some problems going on here. Either that or just kind of a tactical pause to say, yo, what is going on?
Straight away.
We just got destroyed, guys, you know, like...
Attack pause on round...
maybe not quite as nice as that, I think, especially with Imi playing here, having sat in a coaching role pretty solidly for a while. I'm not sure whether he wants to move back into pro play or whether he, you know, is standing in, so to speak. But I think he's definitely going to be taking a pretty heavy in-game leading mantle coming into this, you know, and want to work more strategically based rather than, you know, we saw WeHot previously on their T side. It's, one would think, going to be a pretty different turn of affairs.
But especially when you're up against a team like Endpoint, Imi's ex-team that he was part of, you do want to have more of a strategical kind of game plan, but Luzzer finds Adam with a nice flick. Imi takes Luzzer down on the refrag. And now it looks like mid is in control of Orgles, but for how long? There's a question as Robin is pushing out. Imi walks into connector, he hears the gun, and Robin finds him as Jenko finds Pulse as well with the Deagle. Now Robin, he's got control of mid and connector. The smoke's going to help him push up a bit as the rest of the team are rotating around. He's got Mighty Max behind him. A nice trade coming in there by Thomas and Cray. But the bomb hasn't gone down yet.
Yeah, it's so very awkward. They try and get that bomb down. It's a little bit out in the open. Makes for an easy pickup to deny it. And like you say, that kind of puts the round into contention now. Like, where are they moving to, where could they be coming from? We know where one is, we don't quite know where Max is, and obviously a little bit of a smarter player on this Endpoint side. Great supportive sort of role that he fits in.
Ooh.
And he has rotated around to a pretty decent angle, or spots out one, jumps the gun a little bit early perhaps, but at least going to draw Robin back towards that A site. One thing that maybe they don't quite know as yet is how low these players are. Here's the plant coming in, not going to go for the quick peek, but maybe that's the best decision. Jenko now in the 1 versus 1 as he cleans up Mighty Max, not able to find the head of Robin though, and being on half HP. It was an easy spray down. The defuse going to come in, and Endpoint will get that second gun round on the board, but only just.
Robin hoovering up all of those utilities. 3 kills for him in this round. So, well, pulling up ahead there for the rest of his team, carrying them on the backs, on his back. And picking up an AWP as well to salvage this the next round. He's going to drop it straight towards Luzza. And most probably Luzza's going to go mid towards it. Or, well, we did see him play in Connector in the last round. So salvaging that AWP, not letting it go to waste, as Orgles are forced onto Deagles and CZs. And 1 Glock on Jenko.
He's not having the best of times, economically speaking. Bless him. You know, you said Emmy may well have been able to drop him last round. Didn't happen. He just ended up on a Deagle. So, yeah, it's not being the best of starts for him individually, unfortunately. But don't expect all that much from Orgles. Once again, going for the no utility push in towards mid. But this is how you do it. If you do it slowly, a little bit later into the round, not making too much noise, and you can actually find yourself gaining a lot more control than you bargained for.
It's interesting. Luzza's completely gone away from window and giving them control. Mighty Max can come around the corner. He actually gets taken down by Cray with the CZ. Cray manages to pick himself a weapon as he pushes around. The weapon is a bit far on to short, so a very dangerous pickup. You've got Thomas on B site waiting for you to walk around the corner, but that pick lets the rest of Orgles, 3 players, go through T-Apps right there. That is Adam, Jayan, and Jenko. So making their way in with their pistols. Jenko, with the Glock in hand, should be leading the charge, but Thomas going to go a bit aggressive. He's going to spot one, takes him down. The spray comes in, but it does not connect to everyone else. It's going to be Luzza on the backside, finds Jenko. And just like that, we're down to a 3 versus 3. Somehow Orgles have even this up. Imi falls to 3 HP. Robin's like, what? I didn't finish that kill? What's going on? Cray's on site, actually going for very aggressive there, but Cray takes him down as Imi falls as well. Jayan got himself an M4 in his hand. He's in a good position to fight, but Luzza pulls out the USP like a cowboy and takes out his head.
Indeed. I mean, speaking of Luzza, I don't know if you yourself have caught any of the recent beef. I know some of the people watching between Kenny S and Steel after CS Summit. Luzza is probably the perfect player for Steel in terms of AWPing. He gets that first frag, he drops back, and he does that time and time again. He does not go for repeats if he misses shots more often than not. And if he picks up one, he doesn't get greedy for another. He's a very, very smart AWPer, and it's something that Endpoint have used so well in the past sort of year or so to give them this little bit of a rise in skill as a unit. They use Luzza so effectively.
As you're saying right there, Luzza playing very methodically, spots out a player, falls back and gets himself the right angle, letting the players peek into them, but unfortunately he's not prepared for Imi to peek below his crosshair. Imi finds him, takes his head off. Robin hiding in the smoke as Imi tries to take control of Connector. Robin just got those turtle beaches on at the moment.
Yeah.
Hearing footsteps. As the rest of Orgles, they're still deciding what to do. They've got the pick onto A, so the slow walk rotate comes in through T-spawn. And they've got Imi lurking down on T-apps. Just going to throw some mollies there, bait them out. Robin knows that Imi has just jumped over, just seen him on the screen, going to go for the spray down and gets the kill. But no one else is there. That lets the rest of Orgles run out onto site. Passes there to greet him. He gets 2 clean headshots, but Cray stops the spree. And now you're on a 2 versus 2 retake. Jenko on 18 HP. As Cray takes down Thomas. Now it's all on to Robin. He's got a molly. He's going to throw it firebox. Smoke is left. You can smoke off CT and then go onto the site. You're against Jenko's AWP first off.
Yeah, really seen him pop off with this. In previous weeks in the clutch situation, but a clean headshot comes in from Robin. Cray now in towards CT, not the most conventional position. It is certainly planted for him, but that's the problem for Robin. He's got very, very, very little information to work with. Smoke going to go down on towards the bomb. Cray spots him out and knows that he's not immediately moving on towards that bomb. Tap comes in, but a good read from Cray. Above Robin, not expecting it at all. It will be the round going the way of Orgles. And that is so, so unfortunate for the Endpoint boys. But just losing... Okay, got a bit of a player drop out here, it would seem. But yeah, just losing the initial control of the entire map means that they have to split the defense. And it just messes with them a little bit towards the end, and they're not quite able to mount the retake. Not so sure from Thomas. It's kind of difficult to say. I don't know if you spotted that out. There was like a smoke that seemed to have missed CT by the T side, but was still near enough to sort of make the sound. I think Thomas went running around that corner expecting there to be a smoke there, so he could be a bit aggressive, but it was just completely open. He just caught off guard, gets his head taken clean off. So that's a little bit of a shame. Maybe he could have had a bit of a better fighting chance, but unfortunately, it doesn't work out.
Well, it was a really, really good retake coming in there, but like, who was it towards the end? They got the final kill. It's just slipped out of my mind. I can't see the team players anymore.
Yeah, I know, it's difficult.
The player names, but whoever it was just played that really well, knowing that okay, there are certain areas where he'll be expecting me to be. Instead, I'm going to go up. He's not going to be expecting me to be climbing up onto white box. Cray. Let me climb up this, because that's like the last thing that someone would think that someone would do, right? So a very good, well, initial mind game play coming out there and letting Orgles take that round away from Endpoint. Despite Endpoint being able to do a really good retake, and the tech issue has been resolved. It was a headset issue, so we're going to continue with the game. As we go into round 7, it is 3 apiece. Endpoint on 3, Orgles on 3. And Endpoint not doing that well on their buy. You've got an MP7 and a salvage, well, not even a salvage drop. Robin straight up bought that AWP. And an M4, a Deagle and Pulse. The rest is a full buy for Orgles, AKs and AWP.
Still workable for the CTs. And Orgles once again, as we kind of saw in our previous game, heavily battling this one. You know, the pressure constantly on. These two players right next to each other. Just on the wrong side of the smoke there. Unfortunately, tries to get a bit cheeky on the edge of it, but his barrel gets spotted out. He gets taken down, and now they move into the A site. Clean take coming in. Robin does manage to find one with the AWP. I think they might just look to save this, in all honesty. Heavily locked out, no kits available. Robin on the AWP and glass cannon is really not ideal at all. So
manages to make some sort of money this round.
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so. But it's not the best of situations.
Imi's on the hunt. He spots that Mighty Max. 5-7 in hand for Max, but it's going to be Imi to try and get this kill. Sees both of them, knows where they are. The rest of Orgles, they're going for the hunt. Adam, he gets flashbang. He knows exactly where Robin is. Gets him. That's the AWP down. Mighty Max. He's got a very strong weapon, a pistol as well. He's going to use it. He's going to take the fight on, but it's going to be Adam that takes him down. And there we go. Good, clean wipe from Orgles, making sure that Endpoint don't have literally anything, whether it be armor or a pistol, to take through to the next round.
You see what a difference that makes now as well.
Yeah.
There's no money for Endpoint, so they are going to just have to sit, not really do all that much. I suppose pulse on the P250. It is such a big upgrade, to be fair to anyone out there. You know, it's one of the little things going into an eco round. It makes such a difference, that P250. It really can. But obviously, you've got to be careful, economically speaking. And yeah, there's just not really all that much hope for Endpoint in this one. So Orgles starting to edge ahead early on in this first half, which is always good, setting them up well, in all fairness. As they're just making their way in towards A. It seems A is the site they like to hit. Maybe it would be nice to see from Endpoint. A bit of a gamble stack with rifles could work out, you never know. And catch off the T side.
Endpoint trying to do as much damage as they can, knowing that that's a lost round for them. But unfortunately, not being able to pick up a single kill. But damage to the armor is good enough, forcing Orgles to spend a bit of their economy to just refresh their armor up. But now, Endpoint, they can buy themselves their M4s, their utility, the smokes. One molly, though, on Mighty Max. And he's going to take that towards... Mighty Max is actually holding mid. He's going to run through jungle. So he's taking that to A. And they actually have done a bit of an A stack as well. Adam finds Mighty Max on the rotate. As Laza hiding under. You've got Robin down in CT.
Yeah, that's kind of rough there. We normally say no head armor, not all bad. You know, you're up against AKs, so what does it matter? But that does allow...
Daddy appears.
Exactly, it does allow weapons like that to just jump in, and run and gun especially is very, very hard to deal with, and they can just take you down. Thomas caught completely unawares on the B site. Very little information to work with. He just catches him off from short, and I think they're going to try and go for another save here. But it's actually a bit of an entrapment to make sure that they can't save from Orgles.
The bomb is holding on T-Apps. There's going to be Pulse finds Cray, so that's going to stop Orgles from pushing on to A site. The bomb is being made to rotate round straight to B. They've got complete control of B, and Imi so aggressively pushed, stopping any sort of rotate that's going to come out by Endpoint. Their economy isn't doing that great, so they will look to eco. Unless they can get a pick onto Imi here, that opens up Kitchen for them. But 36 seconds remaining for the bomb to go down, and it looks like it will be a save by Endpoint. Orgles going to take yet another round and bump up their points to 6-3.
Yeah, now doubling the scoreline of Endpoint. So this is kind of a bit scary early on. You know, Orgles, like I said, there's a fair amount of contention what's sort of going on, and they've changed players, you know, more recently than Endpoint for sure. So you would think not quite as solid.
What?
Oh, Luzza with the blind spray. That is filth. Does get a bit greedy for that AK, unfortunately, and pays for it with his life. So maybe not the best decision in hindsight, but I think he knew that he had to fight his way out there. They found him, and then once again they are hunting a fair amount of cash. But like I was saying, Orgles are looking actually really, really good as a unit here on this T side. This round particularly was fantastic. They gained so much control all over the shop. Adam does take down Robin, but pulls back in with the trade, but they turn 3 rifles into 1. So definitely well done from Orgles. But yeah, I think they read into the fact perfectly. A very, very simple thing that they would definitely go for on the Endpoint side is, right, we don't have the greatest of economy. They've been hitting A a lot, and it's really been working for them. Let's stack A. And, you know, Imi and I believe Adam were like, well, we'll push into B.
Yeah.
They're not going to be on there. It was a beautiful read from Orgles, in all honesty.
Well, what can Endpoint do differently? Like, you were suggesting, let's go for a gamble stack A. They did a semi-gamble stack onto A.
Yeah.
Didn't work in their favor. What else is left for them? Getting kills.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, double up setup certainly, but this is something that we often see on CT sides where it can become almost difficult to just spectate as like a fan and things like that. CT sides can't get control of the economy very well, and if a team, a great team that knows how to do this is Astralis. That's why we've seen so recently them just kind of dominating, because if they get on that T side, if they get like a bit of a springboard, and have you on the back foot on the CT side, they can just keep you there because they know how to play against teams and bait out the very little utility that you've got. And once again, I think it's Imi coming into this, and he's like, you know, we just play the round slowly and get in their heads a little bit, send the feelers out there, get a bit more information. There's a lot of teams at this level don't quite understand that you actually have 2 minutes in a round, not like 30 seconds. A lot of teams just rush straight into sites, or they don't do anything for like a minute and a half and then rush in with 30 seconds left. So it can be a little bit annoying to watch. But they've picked up a couple kills here on the T side, particularly over towards A. Some retrieved AKs though for the CTs, looking a little bit scary here as it's brought back into a 3-on-3. I think they're going to try and save this. That's a clean swap coming in from the boys there, Robin and Mighty Max. But ultimately, they are actually going to try and go for this. Okay, fair enough.
They're going for the retake. 3-on-3 as they're making their way in. Jenko, he spots out the head, misses the first shot. Now that gives away his position. Flashed as Mighty Max is going to come around the corner, but it's going to be Adam. He takes down Robin and Pulse. Mighty Max with the 5-7 in hand isn't able to do that much damage, but Adam finds all 3 of them and keeps Orgles in the lead.
Jenko with a solid distraction from CT. Sure, he missed his shot, but they're so trained on taking down that orb that they just don't really check Adam that well, and him from Dark able to get probably one of the easiest triples of his life, you know what I mean? They weren't
just
really
lined up for him.
Yeah, exactly. But a 7th round nonetheless for Orgles, relatively cleanly, surviving with that bare minimum of 3 that we like to see consistently.
Luzza in a good spot, finds Imi straight off the bat for him, and that's a very big place to take down. Imi's been doing such a good job at finding the early picks and also playing that lurker role as well. Finding the random player that is just in the mid-rotation or holding back on a site, while the rest of the team are trying to execute on the opposite site. Now, Mighty Max, he's holding in ladder room. up against Jenko. He's going to be the first one to come around the corner. Jenko and Adam, as they're coming in, he does hear them. The flashbangs do go out. Adam going to run around the corner, does get sprayed down by Mighty Max. Jenko's just going to hold. Molly's going to go, but it's going to be Jenko. He takes down Robin as he peeks the window. And now he's a bit stuck. It is a 3 versus 4 still. JN needs to make a play onto A. Open things up to get Jenko out of that hard spot situation that he's in. They do have Corey pushing through connector as well. The bomb needs to be retrieved, and now Jenko's going to come round, go through Palace, and use that orb to some good use, while Pulse just hiding under wood. And right round his corner is JN. Needs to be a bit more brave to make his way around the corner. Mighty Max and Thomas making sure that there isn't a push coming in onto B. Luzza finds JN, so this probably gives them the information that they need. He spots the bomb as well. No, sorry, Jenko comes in with a bomb afterwards. Mighty Max finds Cray, and Jenko falls to Pulse. And just like that, Endpoint.
Yeah.
Get their foot through the door again.
I don't know, Orgles looking a little bit lost there, it would seem, in places. I think one of the things that they may lack a little bit, you know, certainly looking strategically pretty strong here this evening, but it's the unwritten or the unspoken, I suppose, in Counter-Strike, the unspoken communication between players is often what can help you out in those situations where you are a little bit on the back foot. You've lost the first initial pick especially, and unfortunately they just didn't seem to quite have that there in that round, and it's not played very well into their hands at all. Going to see this double AWP setup coming out. It does appear that Jenko is solidly AWPing for Orgles now at this point. Robin, though, finds the first. He's not smoked off. They just leave him out in the open. He easily is able to pick up 2, almost the 3rd. Cray does return dink for dink. Obviously the AK going to come out on top of that, but all even at this point in time. The utility's starting to fade though, and it's just open angles everywhere pretty much for Endpoint. They're going to abuse that every day of the week. 2 versus 1 for Jane.
He's got the time. He can actually get out into T-spawn, T-ramp, and make his way to B. But in either way, he will be 1-on-1. So he might just fall back, leave the site open, wait in T-spawn a tiny bit, and fake the rotation. And see what Endpoint do. But he's going to start running on towards B with the bomb in his hand. Right, Mighty Max and Luzza. M4 and AWP in either one of those hands. A lot of utility on Luzza, but they're both looking towards A. This gives JN the opportunity to walk around the corner, but Luzza's got a very good angle as he's being held. No, he's actually changed. He's looking the other way. That's going to open things up, but Mighty Max has his back. Very good communication there coming out by Endpoint.
Indeed. That's kind of a great example of what I was saying. You know, communicating everything in that situation makes it a lot easier. You know, maybe you can say, right, they're split from A to B. That's not great. That maybe isolates the 1 versus 1s, but they're aware of that fact. Luzza, he says, I'm going to stop watching site now. I'm going to start watching the apps, and Mighty Max is like, okay, well, I need to readjust a little bit and make sure that your back is covered, and that is exactly what he did, and it worked out beautifully towards the end. It's perfect, a little bit of communication, and once again, they have been together for quite a while, those 2 boys. I think this roster is pretty solid, but Pulse and Robin, relatively new additions, but unfortunately, you can't really account for crazy 1-taps coming in. Imi and Cray get 2 frags in pretty much the same second there. Thomas trying to recover back what he can, but Imi, clean as you like, looking real hot in this round, that's for sure. Picks up another kill as that bomb has gone down, a 4-on-2. Yeah, they're just going to back away and save the AWP on the retake. Never really ideal, and a 2-man deficit. Just kind of swallow your pride, back off, save what you have going into the next round. But it's going to be Orgles in with the hard reset here, actually, so Endpoint, not quite sure what they're going to do in this next round.
I mean, you're saving the AWP. Luzza's been saving that AWP round after round. Mighty Max not doing that well in the economy. Luzza can definitely drop for 1 player. Oh, Mighty Max just surviving from Cray's crosshair. Fraction of a second as well. But what I really like is watching Orgles, like every single round that a member of Team Endpoint has been saving, they always dedicate at least 1 or 2 players minimum to go and hunt. They have such a advantage in the economy that they can afford to lose that weapon or that player and just rebuy completely. And it looks like they're going to change the pace up a bit and go towards B as a full 5 stack.
Yeah, they know, again, going to be low utility from the Endpoint boys, but they've read this pretty well on the Endpoint side, playing 3 over towards B. Thomas picks up 2. Luzza, Mighty Max all chiming in, and it's a see you later from Endpoint there. Orgles were like, you know, last time we 200 IQ'd them with the A-stack thing. This time we're going to 200 IQ them by rushing B. We know they're not going to have the greatest of weaponry, but Endpoint are like, yeah, we know what you're doing. There's some great mind games going on, basically, in this game, is what I'm trying to say, and they all land the shots there. Great crossfire setup as well. Endpoint just demolishing that round, and Orgles now coming into the final round of the half. They don't have a great deal of money remaining, but who really cares? This is all a question of whether it goes 9-6 or 8-7.
Oh, good nade coming in. Adam falling to 53 HP and Jenko on 72. However, Luzza playing a very, very aggressive angle there onto on A site T ramp with the AWP in his hand. Imi gonna try and chime in and do his best, pushing under, trying to find any lurking CT. That's prime for picking. Jenko as well, pushing from the top of mid. Gonna be Mighty Max, just gonna fall back a bit. Gonna give up mid control. Window's being smoked, so Robin gonna be there, but the resmoke does come in, so pretty useless for him to be in that area. And now they're smoking off connector. And they, well, Orgles opting not to take mid and push down it anymore. They're going to be rotating back around towards A, going through T-spawn. The slow walk does come out. And I think Robin's called it. No one's pushed through catwalk. Did Luzza just see the top of Imi's head?
Not so sure. I feel like Imi has just snuck in, but they're aware of the fact that it's probably going to be an A hit. Luzza takes down Adam. Imi, though, has crept in. He picks up Robin. Immediately dealt with, but they're getting a little bit overwhelmed here on this A side. Luzza, though, in at triple. Great AWP spot. Takes down another and is buying time for the rotations. A high flash doesn't blind Gray at all, but he's only got the one piece of information to work with. Not really sure of where everyone else is coming from, and unfortunately, as soon as he peeks, as soon as he reveals himself, he's easily dealt with. And an 8-7 half comes in. Endpoint just securing that last one. But yeah, I think due to the fact that Endpoint there had pushed up through B apps, they had the information that most likely it wasn't going to be B, so they were very prepared for that A hit.
They could do an early rotation as we go into the next half. 8-7, so not even, well, it's another close game.
Yeah, a little bit different this time. Instead of being, you know, one round after another,
yeah.
It seems it is a little bit of one team strings some rounds, another team strings some rounds.
It's a game of momentum.
Yeah.
I'd like to call it. You get enough momentum to build up your economy, you just kind of snowball until the other team can do a decent buy and stop your momentum in its tracks. As we swap sides, Orgles now, the defenders as Endpoint need to get that bomb down on the terrace side, and looks like they're going to go for a very quick A flash rush in execute as Cray and Adam are sitting onto CT. They're just going to give them the site and wait for the rotation to come in. A very long rotation coming in from Imi, coming straight through T-spawn. And all it is Imi, it pays off as well. Finds Mighty Max. He's going to just rotate back down mid. Now, as the rest of Endpoint know exactly what he's up to, Pulse going to push out towards mid, take on JN. The USP, by far the superior weapon, but the Glock, you can just spray it down. Imi, Cray, and, well, Imi gets 2 kills, and so does Cray. Gets taken down and returned straight away, but Robin chiming in with 2 of his own and gets taken down, and the defuse comes in by Orgles. Imi and Jen could stay alive as well.
Pretty damn close, to be fair. But that was classic retake setup. It took a while to come into fruition because it kind of relies on Endpoint to take the fights rather than Orgles, you know, to take them. Very important that Imi finds that one over towards CT. Over towards T, rather. But yeah, they had to push into the CTs there on the Endpoint side of things. Didn't quite do it as quickly as Orgles would have liked, but what happens is, you know, they dedicate 2 or 3 to push through connector, and then there were the 2 players, Adam and Cray, who were initially holding CT. They then get aggressive and kind of get the backstab containment move going on onto the Endpoint team. So it's a bit of a difficult one if they're not able to pick up any initial frags, and Orgles just played it so passively that they really didn't give an opportunity to Endpoint to get any early frags.
Endpoint, despite getting the bomb down and losing the round, they've opted to go for a full eco, buying a well, P250s and 1 Deagle. Loza takes a bit of damage, 40 HP lost. Adam, on the other hand, 40 HP on his side as well. UMP in hand. Imi, though, pushing up, is aware that there could be players. Does hear the bomb drop, most probably, by Mighty Max in Palace. Sorry, in T-Apps. But the rest of Endpoint are trying to get mid-control. Loza in ladder room, climbs up the ladder. And I think Imi might just be aware that there could be a player there as Adam finds Robin. Now it's down to Imi. He's got the weapon in his hand, yep. Nice, easy kill coming on to Loza.
Is he going to be ready for this next player, though? Ooh, I think
just
his
about.
teammate, just kind of spotted it on the minimap, and Imi's able to spin around. Ultimately, their superior weaponry. Got a classic bait and switch coming in from Endpoint, but it really doesn't work out. Cray with the double spray. Easily enough able to take that one, but yeah, they were like, oh, guys, we're going B, rotate to B. It very rarely works at this kind of level, but you never know.
Do you think...
They were trying to get a cheeky bomb plant, really.
Do you think Orgles is getting a bit ahead, like, every single time? Because, like, Imi's played with Pulse, Mighty Max, etc., right? And he kind of understands their playstyle. He knows exactly how they'll play on, well, most importantly, Mirage and stuff. So you can kind of read, or he knows when they're using some of his tactics that he's done. Because, of course, you know, he's a very strong character. He likes to take lead, and I'm pretty sure he did take lead for a short amount of time while he was in Endpoint. So he kind of has a one-up on them, in a sense. He knows the ins and outs of how they rotate, how they play, and it comes out there. Thomas taking Imi down straight away from a very cheeky angle. Now the Endpoint have AK-47s in their hands.
Yeah, Imi's certainly a smart player for sure, but I think it has been a little while since he was solidly in a team playing. So there is kind of that. But he's definitely been performing here this evening, and I think he puts a lot of work in. A, having played in the org before, but also, again, like we mentioned, it's very easy to watch a lot of Endpoint games and anti-strat them in a sense. But here we go, the hit going to be coming in towards the site. Nice read from Mighty Max that JM would be pushed up there. Thomas as well to take down Jenko, brings it into a 4-on-2 now, so unfortunately Jenko the only player to have picked up a kill, and he immediately gets traded. I think this is probably a save situation for Orgles. Endpoint finally put a bit of a stop to the tear that they've been on the CT side. The A site not working out for Endpoint, they opt to go towards B and pretty easily clean up. Do need to be careful, the round's not won yet. In theory it certainly is, but given the opportunities across to the CT side,
look at this, Cray's actually just going to go in.
They really wanted to go for this, to be fair. The smoke going to go down. Molotov as well. Great peek coming in from Loza, but immediately traded. Cray trying to look for the bomb. It's not actually in the smoke. I think now with the time that's remaining, unfortunately, he had to get on it just in the nick of time. He does pick up another kill on his way out, but not able to win the round, at least making it very, very costly. Yeah, I mean...
all the players from Endpoint died to the bomb there.
Yeah, not great.
So despite getting that round under your belt, you're still going to have to buy up, and it's not going to be a great buy either. Pulse having to go with the Galil there. AK-47 and a Mac Daddy for Robin. So despite coming out on top and winning, your buy is just subpar, really, as Mighty Max comes and eradicates Jenko's head in mid, starting off 1 minute 35 already into the round. As for the round, Cray being completely mollied out of position. He does find Thomas, though, and he finds Pulse as he comes around the corner. And he's just going to keep holding. He jumps up as he gets flashed. Does he know that there's Loza pushing onto him? The smoke is going to help him a whole lot as Adam finds Robin, and Cray finds Loza as well. Mighty Max, the last one remaining. Somehow, Orgles just manages to hold this A site with just 2 players. But Mighty Max has a read on where one of the players is, but it's going to be Adam. He's quicker to the mouse button than Mighty Max is.
Yeah, a little bit of a mess there, honestly, from Endpoint. It's a great Molotov. It's not one that we often see, you know, a Molotov to go in towards default that maybe was meant for Firebox and didn't quite reach its mark. But it pushes Cray backwards into, you know, I guess what we would call Ninja. There's maybe a little bit of contention because I know some people call Firebox Ninja. But the spot that he ended up in, they didn't see him make it there. So he had that element of surprise on the players coming in from Ramp and Tetris, and then he just picks up 2 kills, stays alive once again, allowing for rotations and repositions of his teammates. That's a little bit awkward.
How do you lose that?
Yeah, I was just about to sing the praises of Adam for coming in at the right time, but unfortunately caught in the wrong place at the wrong time this particular.
Oh, Pulse finding the head of JN, and so is Lazar with their Deagles. Cray, he needs to man up and take them on, pushing out to mid while the rest of Endpoint are now slow walking their way onto B site, and Imi just, well, he's holding it from a very awkward angle as well, as all three of them will run out in a very quick second. You've got Craig coming up behind. He kind of understands what he needs to do, but he's a bit too far. He needs to be a bit faster on it. The flashbang does go out. Imi dodges the flash, doesn't spot any of them walking out, but it doesn't matter because he finds Thomas, he finds Lazar. He needs to find the third. The bomb is down. Everything's in his favor. He needs to reload, so now he gives the site over to Mighty Max as Cray is pushing through apps. Mighty Max not going to go for the plant. He's simply going to go for the chase. He can actually rotate towards A. Does spot out his head, but is unaware of Cray, who has made the insane rotation through mid, all the way around behind them through T-apps. Yeah,
really well played from Imi, to be fair, not only landing the shots, but then he realized the fact that they were a little bit split on the defensive side of things, so he backs off to a pretty difficult headshot angle where it would require Mighty Max to just, you know, snap his head off immediately, unless, obviously, if he, in the case that he doesn't do that, he gets shot from behind and a little bit wrecked. And that's kind of what ends up happening in that situation. And yeah, I think quite rightly so, Endpoint, I would imagine, calling a timeout here, but apparently it's a technical pause, so maybe not.
Another tech pause coming in. Someone's headset's fallen off, or something like that.
I mean, yeah, that's the classic. That's the classic. You just put TeamSpeak issues.
TeamSpeak issues.
You know, I'm not sure how true that is.
Want to hear
all the time.
Gaming chair issue? Just my chair stopped working.
Yeah.
Tech issue. My chair has stopped working.
Yeah.
Well, as we get into the closing rounds of the game, Orgles pulling up ahead. Surprisingly for me, of course, I would say Endpoint is one of the better teams.
I mean, yeah, this has surprised me. Especially Jenko 7 and 8 right now. He's normally one of the stronger names. Like I say, he seems to be solidly AWPing. When I was in the studio a couple of weeks ago, he pulled off some pretty nasty clutches with the AWP, so maybe his confidence lifted up recently. But Imi coming into it, a bit of a tactical mastermind, going to be helping out, and of course, fragging pretty well also. So, I mean, yeah, it's really surprising to see. Singing...
what?
Oh, Jenko!
He gets 2!
Flaming him a little bit. Maybe I should keep up with that because he just pulls
He gets a third as well. Thomas, Lazar, and Robin all fall to the AK-47, and it's going to be another one, but it's going to be JN that picks him up, and Adam finds Pulse just like that. What on earth?
Yeah, for sure. So that right there.
So don't flame.
Yeah. I apologize. I take it all back. But no, I wasn't really saying anything too bad. I'm not quite sure. I think he was the player that dropped out as well, so now his stats have gotten extra messed up. Maybe that's something to do with the fact that ESA kind of does that. You leave the server and then you rejoin and resets his stats or whatever.
Okay.
Which is always a bit confusing. But yeah, so that was kind of classic from Endpoint. We talked about taking mid with no utility, never really ideal. What they tried to do there is bait the players out from connector, and then the players in from underpass can shoot them in the back. But they were ready for it on the Orgles side. They sent, you know, a fair few players in towards middle and were easily able to hold it down. So not really able to get anything done there on the Endpoint side. We don't expect all that much anyway because they had quite a weak bye. This is the key round. Not a great deal of utility, but they need to pick up this round regardless, because otherwise Orgles are going to be in prime position to just close this one out in relatively one-sided fashion, to be honest with you.
So Mighty Max making a lot of noise in T-apps, trying to bait some players over into that area. The bomb is going to be rotating towards A, as Pulse is waiting in Palace, waiting for the prime opportunity as Robin falls to JN early on from pushing ladder. Mighty Max still alive, still under mid. Thomas going to find Adam as well. Cray just missing some shots. Mighty Max falls. Pulse finds Jenko. And we're on to a 3v3. It is tied up. The bomb is going to get planted. The smoke on CT is down. That's going to give... it's going to make life hard for Emmy as he gets flashed as well. No one's going to run through. None of these silver players nowadays. But everyone's in position and the rotate's coming. 2 coming from CT. Cray taking it slowly. But Thomas finds Emmy. JN. Quick on the refrag. Now it's all down to Cray as Loza finds JN. 2 versus 1, Cray, he just falls. It's very easy to figure out where he is once you know where everyone else is coming from. And Endpoint not letting Orgles run away with this game just about yet. 13-9 going to the 23rd round.
Yeah, for sure. Knocking on the door, trying to snatch defeat. Or victory from the jaws of defeat, I think is the saying I'm trying to go for. But, you know, maybe I should stay away from the cliches. I don't know them 100%. But it was a pretty nice round coming in. Endpoint, pretty decent take in towards A. It's just a bit unfortunate. You know, Cray misses that one frag onto Pulse because of a bit of strafing in midair. And then he picks up a kill onto his teammate that was holding with him, I think, Adam. So, yeah, a little bit sad that Cray misses that one because it really could have turned the tides of battle in all honesty. So Endpoint, bit of luck on their side, but perhaps that's what they need at this point to get back into this game and to stop Orgles, like you say, from truly running away with it. We're still sort of in the dignity saving stages, but if they can win, this one, they can win this round.
Dignity saving stages.
Indeed, you know, not a fully fledged comeback as yet. But if they can win this round, they will kind of reset the economy, I believe, of Orgles. There's only really Cray that's got any money to speak of, and Robin opening up in towards middle, in towards short. That's a pretty good opener for them.
And Imi straight away being aggressive. He's going to spot 2 of them, finds Robin, but falls to Thomas. The refrags, the trades, quick on it as Jenko gets Thomas, spots out 2, misses the shot. It eats brick, gets Loza, another player's come around the corner. It's going to be Mighty Max, finds Adam and Jenko, and now the bomb can go down. And Cray, he needs to be fast. As he's going to come for the retake, he spots that one. He knows one's bench. He needs to figure out where Mighty Max is holding as well. But Mighty Max holding on side. He's going to jump out through, finds Pulse, 1v1. He spots out the foot. Mighty Max gives away his position, but he knows exactly where they are. The nade's going to come in. Mighty Max is going to fall as Cray finds his head, and an excellent 1 versus 2 retake. And Orgles now 1 round away from taking it to match point.
That is nasty to be on the end of that for Endpoint, especially, you know, if they watch the VOD back or maybe the information was in there for him that he was so very low. But literally any other kind of situation, if Mighty Max was on 100 HP, I feel like he wins that. He only needed to connect the 1 bullet, but because he was like 85 and a dink from an M4 does 91, or no, it's 89, I apologize. But, you know, it does a fair chunk of damage. It's going to take him out in that particular situation, but only just, you know, very, very unlucky that Mighty Max took a bit of damage earlier on after picking up a pretty spicy 2K to edge Endpoint ahead on that B bomb site. So, but not to take it away from Cray. Beautifully played. His timing was perfect. Nice little peek coming in from Robin, but Adam with the almost the 3K on that UMP brings it into a 2-on-2. Mighty Max in at middle, meanwhile, catches off JN. So a bit of a hectic round coming in here. Imi, the only one remaining now for Orgles, 1 versus 2. Has very little information and utility to work with. Just going to play things patiently, but Mighty Max is ready for him, and no head armor once again allows for that kind of one-shot headshot. Endpoint, once again, are a little bit under contention as to whether this game's going to go their way, but as soon as they are, you know, called upon, the pressure is on, they seem to be able to get it on the board. It's when you think they're going to win at this point that they get a bit complacent.
What's good to see is the KDA from every single player in the game. They're not that far behind everyone else on the team. A lot of 15 kills. Of course, Jenko was on 6 for 3 there, but that's, of course, he disconnected and reconnected. Yeah. So it's safe to say that he's still in, like, the 15, the teens area in his KDA. But Imi and Cray, 22 and 21 kills for their teams, and they just want more. Look at how aggressive Imi's playing. Mighty Max will have no clue that he's just around that corner. Adam, the only one with... Well, no. JN has a UMP. Adam as well. With an is that MP9 or MP7? MP9.
MP9.
MP9. I get those confused all the time. Thomas.
I mean, now we got the MP5 as well.
Yeah, we've got the MP5. It's all of it.
Honestly.
And the micro Uzi isn't a micro Uzi in this game.
Yeah.
It's a Mac 10.
Yeah.
But it looks like a micro Uzi. But I mean, he's not playing aggressive. He's not taking the peek. He's just waiting there. He knows that someone will eventually walk into him at some point, and Mighty Max is making that push, and Mighty Max does fall very low. So does Imi, 23 HP on both of the players. They do an even trade, and they're simply going to back off.
Moving in towards B, though, I mean, that might just be a bit of a difference maker. Imi in here being a problem, catches off 1. Jenko, meanwhile, has found another kill. So the man advantage is actually in favor of the CT side, but only for a second. Thomas does need to be careful on 9 HP. It's still kind of doable here for the CTs if they want to go for this. I think this is ultimately why they went for this force buy, is perhaps not to win, but to keep the economy weak of their opponents. Oh, that was such an awkward spray down from Luzza. Put him back on the Orc, boys. He does manage to survive, though, and a little bit of help from his friends brings it back into a 1-on-3. JN now not really got a hope in hell.
Oh, you say that.
Some nutty shots to come through. So low, 5 HP, 6 HP. This is very, very doable, to be fair. They're stacked pretty heavily together, though, on the Endpoint side. Just don't peek, don't peek. I'm sure that's all that they're saying right now. JN slowly trying to make his way in. I feel like the 10-second timer just about to pop off. The Molotov going down towards the bomb secures the round, and Thomas somehow snuck in a bit of a 4x3 curse, perhaps, for JN. And it will be the round going the way of Endpoint. But once again, just by the skin of their teeth, they are certainly pulling these rounds, you know, kicking and screaming. Not as clean as they would like at this point.
You know what happened down comms there? Cray went, "You can't do what I did a few rounds ago." Jane just went, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
And he does so well. He actually gets, you know, 6 HP on both of the last remaining players. It was just a shame that somehow that player managed to sneak past and get onto bench without him seeing. But trades coming in down mid. Thomas finding 2, 3, a third there on Adam. Nice and easy when no one has armor, but nonetheless, that opens up the round, and Endpoint take it away from Orgles5.
Oh, that was Thomas with some crazy running headshot. But no. But yeah, a few eco frags here and there, always nice. The Mac 10 pays for itself pretty solidly in that situation. Pause coming in, I think this is something that we've seen brilliantly from these two teams, is utilizing pauses. I think we saw one, maybe, in the first game, and that was such a close game, you know?
Nope, it's another tech pause.
Ah, okay, well. I think as far as the rules go with the online play, they can definitely talk about tactics in this. Not quite as strict as when it's offline. You know, you got a tech pause, no one's allowed to talk. But
you can't really regulate that, can you?
Yeah, exactly.
Online play.
So, and everyone's allowed to do it, so it's cool. You know.
It's all right. Do you think they do it on purpose so it doesn't count as any of their pauses? Oh, we have a headset issue.
Yeah, yet again. I don't know, mate.
Don't make it count. But so far, Endpoint slowly making their way back into the game. Only 2 rounds away from drawing it up, but 1 round away, 1 mistake away from letting Orgles5 take this to match point. 2 mistakes away from letting Orgles5 completely take this. And if I'm right, Endpoint is currently at the top of their group. Orgles5 not that far behind, though.
Yeah, I think with this being the final week, it is kind of a case of Vexed being a bit more concerned about this one, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I think they are currently 5-2 after their win, and Endpoint would go to 5-2 if they lose this one. So again, that top spot would be under contention. Maybe a head-to-head matchup would have to come into it, or however they kind of decide it. But for Orgles as well, pretty important. They want to secure themselves a place in playoffs and make sure that they are 100%. I would imagine some kind of seeding comes into it. What would there be in 2 or 3 teams that would be in playoff from each group? So I think they'd like a nice seed, you know, and obviously it plays pretty well confidence-wise. You beat one of the best teams in Premiership, and for sure, at least in my opinion, I think one of the best teams in the UK scene, been proving themselves all over the shop, even in the European scene a little bit. So it is certainly a notch on the belt if they're able to take this one, but we'll see.
Mid control coming in by Endpoint. Very, very aggressive and very fast to take that control away from Orgles straight away. The great thing about Mirage is you need to have that control on mid. If you don't, you kind of lose any sort of... Well, it is so important to have it because you can do stuff like this, what Mighty Max has done. Now he's completely behind enemy lines. He does make some noise by jumping. Yeah. Could be a mistake. Jenko's heard him. And he knows exactly that he's there, but Mighty Max turns around as JN comes in. He does get traded up straight away by Thomas on that, but his position has been given away. Now, Endpoint, what are you going to do with the control that you have on mid currently? Mighty Max has lost a bit of... Well, Jenko can just peek out now and take them all down. Adam is waiting. He does get ripped to shreds by Robin's AK-47. Pulse now coming out from Palace.
This is the position, though. Yeah, denies the bomb plant. Cray in at ramp. They're not expecting it all. Trying to plant for ramp even. He gets another, and Jenko comes in with a 2K towards the M from the backside. And that'll be the match point. 15-12. Endpoint going to be pretty annoyed with that one. Yeah, there was a lot of pressure that came in from Palace, a lot of pressure that came in from Connector, but there was literally no one at ramp. And that just allows Cray to push him behind and solidly, you know, just causes everyone to panic. As soon as you kind of drop that bomb in that sort of situation, the comms break down a little bit, you start to panic, and then he's a good distraction. You've got to deal with the ramp player, and Jenko comes into the perfect time to just deal with the rest of them.
Not only that, it was one little mistake, was Mighty Max failing that jump and giving away his position to Jenko. And then the crossfire that was created just to get rid of him. And losing that, like, you boosted up into window is such a strong boost to do if no one knows that you're doing it. And then you have a player there that is basically playing spoiler for a lot of it. But it just did not work in their favor. Mighty Max just missed that jump, and I'm not going to say he lost them the round there, but one mistake like that can be very costly. Imi does spot out a player pushing out from T-Apps. He does get the spray. Unfortunately, Thomas, his spray is stronger as now Endpoint. They're looking to fight to take this to overtime. Jenko does come in very fast, though. Gets rid of Mighty Max. Thomas gets rid of Jenko.
Maybe a little bit of patience would have worked out there for Jenko, in all honesty. Just wait for his teammates. The fact that Endpoint made it in towards the site with very little utility as well just means they're able to lock out these final two players, and I think that call to save probably going to be made here. But yeah, Jenko picks up a nice frag. Like I say, it's great to bring it back into a 3-on-3, but then just tries to go for an aggressive peek and gets immediately traded. He did, I feel, have the opportunity to just drop back a little bit, wait for his teammates, and then move in towards the site. But benefit of hindsight, you know, it could have worked out for him. Who knows, he might have caught off another player by going for that aggressive peek. So difficult to say 100% of the time. But from our perspective, when things are slightly slower, not happening, you know,
you don't have the adrenaline rushing through you.
Exactly, you know, you kind of edge towards that safer play. But Jenko, been feeling it in the past few rounds for sure, and he finally gets the AWP back out, tries to get a bit cheeky with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. I'm going to go for the solid eco here, so this is the safe play for sure. This will have come in from Imi definitely, and now they're going to try and work around these two saved rifles.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a full stack on to, well, not a full stack, 4 players being dedicated to that B site. Only Adam being told to hold onto A, as Cray, he's got the boosted up. He does spot out one play, he spots his head, but unfortunately he's not there, he's not quick enough. Imi finds Thomas, Robin takes down Cray, but it's going to be Robin pushing around the corner first. Robin gets a second one as well, and Mighty Max not that far off to return the fire. And now Adam, he's left all by himself. He needs to make the rotation through. What can he do? Just try and do some damage, or save that M4 for the next round?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say. I don't think there'll be a lot of information coming through that they've been tagged. You know, you have to bear in mind from a spectator standpoint, they won't get this information, you know, that Mighty Max is on 31 and 29 until the end of the round. Maybe if you're a matchmaking frequenter, you know, you go on matchmaking a lot, you'll be used to it coming up as soon as you die. But they won't get this until the end of the round. So the only thing you can really have to work off of is like dinks and things, more the sound cues.
Just dinked or hit
low. Yeah,
you know he's low.
Yeah, exactly. If you've sprayed like 28 bullets and you don't kill him, you've surely hit him with a fair few of those, right? If he's like right in front of you. But it's just safer to save. He might be able to get some exits here though, because they're all working up together. Does depend on whether they're ready for him, however, is the question. He doesn't actually get very aggressive off the back of it. Impulse just takes him down. That could be a bit of a difference maker, you know. Look at the money for Orgles. Endpoint looking pretty good to maybe take this one to overtime. This is their round to lose at this point, because the buy from Orgles is going to be absolutely terrible at this point. I mean, it's workable, but it's really not ideal when you're in a round 30 overtime contention situation, you know. I feel like they definitely should have closed this one out a little bit earlier.
A very scary round to be going into if you're Orgles. Laza just misses the shot, isn't able to get that early advantage straight away. Jenko has been gifted an AWP from Imi, and you've got 2 UMPs on Adam and JN. But you're up against AK-47s all down the board, and Laza with his AWP. Adam just holding as close as he can to maximize every single bullet of that UMP hitting a player, while the rest of Endpoint are rotating through, and it looks like they're going to go for an execute onto A. They get the bomb down. If they manage to do this, we are going to be looking to go overtime. 1 minute on the clock.
Timing on this push, it could be perfect. They've not opted to go fully fledged for it, but they're very aggressively pushed up.
It's a very good molly. That's going to stop them.
Certainly is. They're going to work in as well as they try and push back. There's a couple players in towards Palace. Another molly in at dark. Going to push Jenko into a bit of an awkward situation. But Cray is here to try and hold things down. He gets blinded up, however, into a 3-on-2. Yorp has been dropped pretty importantly. The smoke dissipates over towards CT, but Imi is melted down to 30 HP. Oh, and Mighty Max takes him down with a clean headshot. JN to cure it in regulation. Can't get it done. It is going to be the overtime coming in as Endpoint fight back. I talked about dignity saving earlier on, but they have certainly proven themselves as to why they are one of the top teams here in Premiership. Right,
okay. So, MR6 for overtime. You have to win.
I believe 10k as well on the SEA, I'm not sure.
10k?
Not 100% sure. Face it's definitely 10k, but I think the SEA might be 16. We'll see. Maybe it's their own rule set as well coming into Prem. The conventional stuff.
The conventional stuff. Well, as far as I'm aware, it's MR6, so 3 rounds a half, and you've got to win 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to win at least, you know, one side.
Yeah, that's 100% the norm in terms of the max rounds. You know, gone are the days of max rounds 10 overtimes, which were brutal, to say the least. You know, the players would just be like, oh, can't be bothered. Like
I'd rather lose at this point. It's just not worth it. So, match is live. Match is live. 6 seconds now before the players start going in.
Okay, it is 16k.
And this is make or break pretty much for Orgles. They want to be able to contest Vexed and Endpoint. They kind of want to run away on the group standings at the moment. But Thomas not opting to go for a very big gun straight away. Max 10 as JN finds Robin straight away. And he's going to get boosted up, but there's a player coming around the corner, unaware of it, but JN finds a no-scope, going for a quick scope. It's going to be Mighty Max that comes out on top. And Imi falls on the other side of the map to Thomas as well. But not before that. Mighty Max just completely dominating onto the B side, finding Jenko, and that's the AWP taken out of count for Orgles. And Laza coming in, doing some damage of his own. Now Cray left alone. He's been in this situation before. Can he do it again? But this time he's got an M4. He does spot Laza now. That's dangerous. You're up against the AWP. The flashbang is going to go over. No one in kitchen from the viewpoint of Laza to fight. But Cray, timing. No one is towards bench. What he knows of. He's just playing this slowly. He finds one. He finds Pulse. He knows exactly where Laza is, but Laza has the line of sight on him and takes out Cray. And Endpoint win the first round of overtime.
Yeah, one thing to consider here for Endpoint is they are going to have a hell of a lot of momentum coming into this. Orgles feel like, you know, it was, what, 13-8 at one point. I think it was kind of their best opportunity to close things out. And Endpoint have just been riding on a high. They dropped a couple of rounds, but pretty much a flawless comeback. And Orgles, perhaps in the back of their minds, especially after losing that first round, is going to be like, oh, well, should have closed this one out. Beautiful movement coming in from Imi. No one's going to be expecting that, all right? I know maybe he gets a little bit of flame on Twitter for being a bit of an older guy, but look at those moves. That is such a hard strafe to land and then hit the shot as well. As you can see, Robin just completely caught off guard, and it's a great way for the CTs to open up.
Solid opening while the rest of Endpoint are making the rotation through under tunnel. Jenko holding from CT, holding A. And yet again we see Pulse in Palace waiting for the right moment to push out. Mighty Max leading the charge, gets taken down by Cray, and he finds a second on Thomas. A good crossfire coming in by Thomas and Adam there. Not long before Cray gets taken down by Laza. Just not coming around the corner enough for Jenko to get the shot on, but they know exactly where he is, and the smoke. Sorry, the molly. It's going to push him out. The timing from Jenko just scopes out as Laza peeks around the corner. This is some old school Kenny S stuff, scoping in and running everywhere. Laza finds Jenko as well. He's trying to do the best he can for the rest of his team. As Adam's just above him with the AK, the smoke goes out, but there's a bit of a gap. That is going to be Laza. Oh. Switches to the Tech 9. People still use that?
I mean, we'll go over that in just a few seconds. You know, it's been very, very recently changed, you see, but Laza coming in with that AWP. really firing on all cylinders here. He's planted it for ramp. He's able to get away to a pretty decent post plant. He seems savvy to the fact that there's one at CT, and he would be correct in thinking, but is he going to be ready for JN? I don't think so. JN should surely be able to get the angle on him. He does indeed. Takes him down as he's scoped in easily enough, but nice attempt coming in from Luzza, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's just that double up setup, that initial pick from Imi ends up, you know, carrying them on through. But Cray, it's beautifully played at connector, like you say, a great crossfire. You have to check that right-hand side first, so the fact that they put a player there as the distraction and then Cray just uses him as bait is brilliant. But yeah, the Tech-9 got worsened. So the CZ was super OP, so did the 5-7, right? So yeah, CZ on both sides. Very recent, we're talking like 2 weeks ago. They maybe a little bit longer than that. They changed the Tech-9 and the 5-7 and the CZ to kind of bring them all into balance. Yeah, I think it's one of the best changes they've done for a while, actually, because we have seen 5-7s and CZs and Tech-9s just dotted about everywhere. I remember the days when the Tech-9 was just absolutely broken. That's what you used. And exactly. Then they buffed the CZ, and then that was like, yeah, now this is absolutely broken. Just use this. Yeah, yeah. And the Tech-9 was absolute garbage, but working in favor there for Luzza, unfortunately. Unable to completely take care of that round, but 16-16 to start off with. First to 19, as Adam was the first fallen casualty of the round. Imi this time with the AWP, and so Jenko. So double up setup coming in by Orgles5, while the rest of Endpoint slowly making their way towards B site through T-Apps. You've got Robin hiding in connector. A good flashbang going to stop Imi, and they take Imi down as well. So that's the AWP off. The Molly is going to force JN to move, but it's going to be Thomas that takes him down before he can do so. Cray and Jenko left alive. Cray, you've done it once. You tried to do it again. It didn't happen. What are you going to do this time? Yeah, we'll see. They are going to try and go for this. We've got plenty of money in the bank with that 16k. It will actually also be the final round of this first half, so unfortunately they're going to get a bit wrecked towards the end. Not all that much happening. It's going to be the swap over of sides, but a little bit unfortunate there. You talk about the Molotov at JN. I don't think it would have made it to him, but the smoke over it makes it very, very hard to see, and he just wasn't sure on the timing of when they came around that corner, so yeah, he's not able to answer back for Imi's death, unfortunately, and Imi, you know, gets the tag, but not quite the kill, so it's a little bit unlucky there in that final round for Orgles5. But coming on to this T side, Orgles5 had a really, really good T side, so Endpoint, they only need a couple rounds, but that is certainly easier said than done at this point in time. However, Endpoint, with that 16k, can quite happily go straight into a double up setup and not really have to worry too much about their bank. Orgles not that far behind. Now that both teams can not worry about economy, it removes a bit of an aspect of the game. Yeah, like they don't fall that far behind in terms of rounds. So every single round is more even, and this is where where team skill, as well as individual skill, really shines round after round. How consistently good are you when both teams have equal footing? Pulse now playing aggressive as Endpoint take CT side for a change. And here we go, Pulse really up ahead. Kills going all over the place onto A site. Just an absolute massacre out there, to be honest. And Imi going to take down Thomas on the rotation, as they opted to leave CT open so that they could push it all onto Mighty Max. Done a fair amount of damage here, actually, and already picked up one of the kills. Not quite able to take down Imi. He's getting closer and closer and closer. Has a Molotov available. I think that might just write off Cray. It wasn't quite deep enough, though, in towards the corner, unfortunately. He jumps up high when he's blind and gets taken down, so that will be pretty anticlimactic end to that one. Mighty Max definitely had a chance into the round, into the clutch situation, I should say, but again, look kind of working out in favor of Orgles5. Just didn't have the information that there were two players standing by white box. If so, he might have not gone for the push, or he might have thrown that molly a bit closer, rather than trying to make it go all the way down towards CT. But Orgles5 do tie it up 17-17 as we get to the penultimate round of the half. Luzza, he's going to get boosted again down mid onto Catwalk. Jenko finds the kill. Luzza finds Imi just before being flashed, and they're going to fall back and drop onto B site. 1-for-1 trade early on.
for both teams.
On that setup, though, they've given up so much mid control. You see Jenko is aggressively pushed in towards ladder room here, but they're perhaps overcompensating a little bit. They've got A control on the T side, but they're not quite dedicating to where the bomb's going to go. Maybe playing a little bit of a fake. It's difficult to read at this point. Oh, Adam just misses out on the kill on towards Luzza. Leaves him on low HP, but a man advantage going into what looks like is going to be a bit of a retake. We'll see. Difficult for Orgles to get into the site here. I feel very little utility to work with. Pulse just pushed off the angle, but Jenko with the flying AWP takes him down just as he lands, bringing it into a 3-on-3 hit.
Oh, is that nade going to connect? It does. Just takes a bit of health off Cray. He's trying to plant the bomb, Mighty Max, making sure no one's pushing through the smoke. And all 3 CTs coming in from CT. This is a very risky play for them, but it might be something that Orgles won't be expecting at all. The bomb has been planted. Jenko in a prime spot without AWP. The smoke is going to stop him. He does. I don't know if he did tag him, but JN finds Thomas as the rest of, well, not the rest of Endpoint. They just get completely ended.
Yeah, for sure. Again, a bit of an anticlimactic end. And I don't know, like you say, bringing all 3 players in at CT, you lose the aspect of like a double-pronged or a triple-pronged retake. But you may be playing to the fact that there could be a player who is solidly posted up on connector or solidly posted up on ramp and not going to turn away to look towards a different angle, and then maybe you eliminate that a little bit. But unfortunately, they showed themselves and showed their hand, and it made it very easy for Orgles to read it. So 1 round away here from another overtime, or Orgles taking this one. We'll have to see. Luzza does find the first kill as he himself pulls out the spicy moves, gets over towards short and catches Imi off guard. So a bit of a taste of his own medicine there, it would seem.
You know how to do that, so do I. Imi, don't worry. We're on the same level. Both of these teams trying to prove to each other that they aren't that far apart in terms of skill. 17-18. Orgles won, well, they're at match point again and Endpoint. They're back in the same position as Mighty Max get Jenko, and Robin finds Adam as well. So now they have the advantage, 2 versus 5 for Endpoint. They're in the same position as they were. They're trying to take this to another overtime as Thomas finds Cray. It's all down to Jayan. And by the looks of it, we will be going to a second overtime. Unless Jayan can pull some nutty stuff out of the bag. Spots one person flying over, but gets completely obliterated in the head. And Endpoint tie up the first overtime.
Well, well, well.
I remember ages ago, I don't want to say ages ago, I mean years ago, there was this one UK CS game where it was on Dust 2, and it went on to like 10 overtimes.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there with that. I think you might just have cursed us, you know.
Everyone in the production office is just like, no.
No.
How dare I say such a thing?
Indeed.
10 overtimes. No, it's only happened once. It won't happen again.
I'm pretty sure it's like the longest game in CS history as well.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure.
I think
it's one that's also pretty close. I can't 100%.
It gets to a point where you're just like, look, just have the win.
Yeah, but then
if it was me as a player.
But which team is going to do that is the issue, you know what I mean?
You put so much time and effort into the game, you've invested so much time that you're like, right, we can't lose now. Like, yeah, it'll just be such a waste of time if we lose. But then again, it's what do we get out of it?
You go all that way, and it's like, right, time for map 2. You know, what should be about 3 hours or so of CS suddenly turns into like 7 for a playoff spot, you know. But fortunately, it very, very rarely happens, to be fair. You know, we like the 1 overtime, the 2 overtime makes it pretty competitive. It's when it starts to go to 3 and 4 that it becomes a bit of a farce, you know. Especially with 16k, this is sometimes what we see. Players start to play a little bit more sloppily because they don't have to really care all that much about the economy game. But we'll see. Orgles with a pretty solid T side in there, winning you know, a couple rounds in a row. Unfortunately, Endpoint also doing pretty well on their T side, so they didn't require so much on the CT side. Adam going to make his way up through connector, tries to just hold mouse 1 to take down Mighty Max, but the reset comes in from Mighty Max, and now the A control in favor, it would seem, of the T side. However, there is still a pesky pulse hidden in towards Firebox, I believe, and then moving across the dark, takes down Cray. Luzza on the rotation and also picked up Jenko pretty easily. So first round goes the way of Endpoint, but we are starting to see it quite early on into our second overtime. That was a very, very sloppy round from Orgles. A little bit of utility, but they just sort of go in like a bull in a china shop and hope for the best. Didn't really work out.
Trying out different things. First to 22, you can see on your screen.
That's really helpful as well.
Game. Yeah, you kind of lose count. Yeah. You're just like, I'm good at maths when the numbers are really low. But all of that. Laza finding the first shot to mid, goes for a second repeat, but decides it's not the best of idea. Robin in connector to try and get the shot, needs to jump over as the rest of the players from Orgles are flashbanged. That allows him to get out of there. Jenko watching that boost area because Laza's done it quite a few times, making sure that they're not doing that again. Now, Mighty Max falling to the AK-47 of Imi. And that kind of opens up mid for Orgles and the rotation that they can make towards B. Whether or not they're going to commit to that is another question. You can see everyone has kind of, from Endpoint, they've only left Pulse on B. And he kind of does this. He likes playing in Palace. Even when he's T-side, he'll sit in Palace and he'll be the one to push out of it. And now that he's on CT, he'll wait on Palace and wait for the rotation to come in. Robin finds Imi. That's going to give them the clue that they're all coming through. Thomas gets Cray down as Jenko, unfortunately, isn't able to get Laza. And Laza wins the round with 2 kills towards the end.
Yeah, and some pretty mad stats that he's putting up as well. 36 kills would be the highest on the server, indeed. So 36 to 19 as well. So not only is he getting a load of kills, he's also on low deaths, which kind of, points towards having many multi-frag rounds, which is a really, really good performance. You can see sometimes, a player, sure, he's got 30 kills, but then he's also got 30 deaths, so it's kind of like he's just trading 1 for 1 every single round, and maybe that's not the best way of playing Counter-Strike, you don't know. But either way, another fast hit coming in from Orgles. Once again, only 30 seconds in, they're immediately on towards the A side. They're just getting absolutely demolished here. Luzzer in with another multi-frag round. JN able to take down Pulse, but he's just cleaned up. And that is 3 of the fastest rounds we've had this game. Endpoint just storming ahead on that CT side. It does seem Orgles starting to get a little bit like, we don't want to be here anymore. Let's just try and force the issue, and it's just not working out.
How many points do you get for winning on the group stages?
I think it's 3, but I possibly, I'm not sure. Yes, yeah, okay. Okay. So production, right. I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure if they go to overtime, they get like extra points. So I think this is possibly why Orgles are coming into this a little bit like, we don't really need to do so much more here, so we can play.
We've already pulled up ahead.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We've pulled away.
Exactly.
Enough.
So it's a bit cheeky. It's a bit cheeky. They're not 100% just, running it down mid type deal, but it does seem a little bit less effort put into their T side there. But we'll see. Maybe there was meant to be a great deal of strategy, and it was just Endpoint playing really, really well. Difficult to tell at this point. We'll see where they go onto the CT half.
A wallbang by Jenko just missing, by Thomas just missing, whose head is that? JN's head. By centimeters, while Endpoint trying to get their footing on this T side. Trying to make an opening, JN. Gonna take some fire, taking a lot of fire damage. I was gonna say some, but unnecessary fire damage being taken there by him. Drops down to 60 HP, 40 HP lost to Flames. While the rest of Endpoint, they made their noise, they've kind of made their presence clear, but they're going to rotate round. We've seen this round after round after round. Teams go towards B, they sit round in apps, and then after a while, it hits 1 minute, they'll rotate back round and do a complete, fully fledged execute onto A site. We can already see down mid, the rotation coming in from Jenko. He's actually making his way all the way towards B through catwalk, and then the call comes out, the flashbangs and smokes coming in, so he runs back straight through connector. He's back onto the site just in time. And now Robin's gonna run out. Thomas gonna get the kill first of all. Jenko finding Robin, but Laza and Pulse. Laza showing off with his AWP skills.
Yeah, a little bit. He is obviously playing really well with it on the CT side, pulled it out here on the T side. Everybody chiming in a little bit so far for Endpoint, but a 4-on-2 retake with very little utility for Orgles. Not ideal at all. They're both coming in from the same sort of angle. They've given enough time to the Ts to unfortunately allow them to get in some pretty decent post plants. Quick refrag coming in. We've got a bit of GoTV lag, and that generally comes from... Yikes. That generally comes from, the round and the game, therefore, sort of ending. So I'd imagine...
So...
Luzzer
Laza got that shot.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's just kind of dropped out. GoTV is...
There we go.
There we go, boys.
Thank you very much. Team Endpoint taking that.
Yeah.
Even though they were on the back foot for most of the game, they took it to overtime. They lost the first overtime. They had to take it second overtime, and, well, they won it easy peasy, fair and squeezy.